Hi, my name is Ingrid Gordon. I'm a percussionist and artistic director of Percussia. We are on day 4 of our recording. In fact, we just wrapped the entire session, and I'm joined by Ljova, who is not just our resident violist, but also the composer of the last piece that we just recorded. So welcome to the Q&A.
Thank you.
I know you were born in Moscow, Russia, and immigrated to New York as a child.
Yeah.
And I also had sort of an immigrant experience where I know what it's like to live in different cultures, and that really shapes you as a person. And I'm wondering if you feel that that also shaped you artistically.
I think so. And I've been working in immigrant communities and with immigrant musicians for probably 20 years, whether it's working with the Silk Road Ensemble or working with Kronos or working with the trio that I have these days with Trio Fadolin, where all of us are from different republics of the former Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
I myself am kind of from all sorts of places. I was born in Moscow, and my mom's from Moscow. My dad was born in Uzbekistan because his family was evacuated from Ukraine during the World War. My mom is like Polish and Romanian, and so we're all kind of mixed and I don't feel at home particularly anywhere really, except New York, where everyone, more or less everyone, is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't even feel home in New Jersey, to be honest. It feels like a different country.
Yeah.
But in New York, I feel very welcome, and I welcome everybody to the city, and everybody understands each other and respects each other, more or less. It's a place I call home for 30 some odd years.
So you've been Percussia's violist / fadolinist for at least 15 years. And we only recently were able to raise the money to commission you formally. Thank you, New York State Council on the Arts. We love you.
Cheers to you. Thank you.
But you've been a fly on the wall for all of these other pieces that we've commissioned and premiered and workshopped.
True.
Have you been a fly on the wall all this time taking notes?
I think so. I mean, I've been taking notes for sure. Yeah, trying to take what works, and not only on the technical side, but what works for your personalities too. What works for Susan, what works for Margaret, what works for Frank, and what works for you. Absolutely. I mean, they've been taking notes, but like psychological profile.
Right.
You know Russians, so it's all about the psychological profile.
Ooh, I'm embarrassed now. Now I'm thinking about what your process is as a composer. It's easy to say with a lot of composers, what music has influenced you? But what strikes me about you is it's not just other music that influences you, but your living environment influences you. Your everyday sounds. You're almost like a kind of modern day John Cage. How do sounds in your environment inspire your compositions? I'm thinking of the pieces called On the Street Where I Live.
Yeah.
That's a very literal reference.
Yeah, I mean, this piece was written during the pandemic at a time when identity became a very important talking point. And when people would ask, what is this piece about? What is this project about? What is this commission about? So often it would be based on your identity. I identify such as this, and I identify such as that, and I strongly support this or that, whatever. And for me, as an immigrant, and having worked with so many cultures and musicians from all over the place, and filmmakers and dance makers, I don't really have a strong sense of identity. I'm not really from anywhere. Okay, I was born in Moscow. I'm a Russian Jew. In Russia, you're a Jew. You're not a Russian. If you're a Jew, you're not. It's backwards. Anyway, you're not at home anywhere. So, but in New York, I feel at home. And the only thing I felt at that time, speaking of identity, the only thing I can represent is my identity as an Upper West Sider, as a New Yorker. And so I wrote this piece kind of as a joke, say, on the street where I live. During the pandemic, our neighborhood, as I'm sure yours was full of ambulances going back and forth, and so this minor third of the ambulances going became a constant outside our window. Never ending. Every 20 minutes or so, every 10 minutes, somebody was, the ambulance was going. And these thirds became an inescapable part of my composing. And then another element outside our window was this gentleman, William, who would come to our neighborhood I spoke with him eventually. He came from the Bronx, and he would come to our neighborhood and put down a chair and a cup from Dunkin' Donuts, and he would sing this song, Help Somebody. And it's something, I'm assuming it's something that he composed. It was the only thing that he did. He came over and he would do that song for sometimes half an hour, sometimes more. And I would hear it outside our window, and it really appealed to me, and it really healed me during that time of COVID, because he was trying to help anybody, including himself, of course, in some sense. Everybody who was on the street. There were so many people on the street during that time, in 2020 and 2021, and it inspired a movement. Another movement of this piece was a piece called Street Tune, which is something that I improvised on the street during when it became safe to go outside. Because there was less chance of exposure, I would go outside nearly daily and just go play something for an hour or so before sunset. And sometimes I would videotape these little snippets when I thought they might be good. And I would sometimes put them on Instagram, and sometimes I would just archive them in my phone. And this Street Tune was one of those tunes that I improvised on the street, and this grew out of that. So these were things that were happening on our corner. And so, yeah, I would say the environment around the neighborhood is something that I could represent. Writing pieces became about representing, about having an identity. And this was what I could represent. I could represent my neighborhood. I could represent the people in my neighborhood. I could represent the feeling of our neighborhood. And it seemed like a response to that kind of question of identity.
Thank you for your music and your composition, and for being a longtime fiddle player in percussion.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me, Ingrid. We love you.
It's a pleasure.
This band is a great band. Thank you to Silas and to everybody here at the Bunker. And it's been a real
it's been really fun.
Honor and a privilege and a treat.
And it will continue to be.
I hope so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.